Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some truly fascinating insights from recent analyses on senior relationships. We're diving into a topic that honestly isn't discussed nearly enough. What if I told you the biggest risk for men over 60 might not be a health scare or even a bad financial investment, but actually entering into the wrong romantic relationship? I know it sounds intense, but the source material breaks this down in a highly logical, structured way, and we're going to uncover the hidden tolls of companionship at this very specific stage of life. The source material hits incredibly hard right out of the gate with this provocative statement. It argues that protecting your hard-earned peace is far more crucial than avoiding loneliness. Just think about it for a second. After decades of working, raising families, carrying all those heavy responsibilities, peace of mind becomes a senior man's absolute most valuable asset. Society loves to push this narrative that a relationship automatically equals happiness. But for a man over 60, the wrong relationship can quietly dismantle the exact tranquility he just spent a lifetime building. So here is our agenda for today. We'll be looking at 1. The ultimate risk. 2. Emotional and financial exhaustion. 3. The cost of freedom. 4. Attention versus respect. 5. Health and identity loss. And finally, 6. Redefining fulfillment. Let's jump right in. Section 1. The ultimate risk. The source highlights a really fascinating paradigm shift that happens when a man hits 60. At this stage of life, he's already endured the battles, the heavy responsibilities, the victories, and the sacrifices. He really doesn't need to prove his masculinity or chase chaotic excitement anymore. He simply wants a stress-free existence. The material argues that time, health, and just the ability to wake up without unnecessary pressure, well, those are forms of wealth you literally can't find in a bank account. Yet so many men willingly put these assets at risk the moment they enter a new relationship. They assume companionship automatically brings comfort, completely missing the potential liabilities attached. Section 2. Emotional and financial exhaustion. Look at this fascinating contrast between youth and the senior years. When you're 30, your energy for drama is, well, it's incredibly high, right? You can handle the endless negotiations, the emotional roller coasters, the misunderstandings. But at 60, simplicity isn't just nice to have, it is an absolute necessity. Emotional labor becomes incredibly expensive. What starts out as nice companionship can slowly morph into you managing someone else's feelings, constantly offering reassurance, and walking on eggshells just to avoid tension. Your energy is a finite resource now, and as the source points out, you just can't afford to waste it on unnecessary relationship chaos. And this exact same stark contrast applies to finances. You just cannot bounce back from financial missteps at 60 the way you could at 30. A younger guy can work longer hours, start over, rebuild his savings. But an older man, he's often on a fixed income. Every single dollar is earmarked for a specific purpose, whether that's health, independence, or future security. The source emphasizes that financial vulnerability in a senior relationship has nothing to do with being cheap. It's about recognizing that risking your nest egg right now means literally risking your survival and independence later on. The material actually maps out this hidden trap as a sort of financial snowball effect, because it rarely hits you all at once. It starts with step 1, maybe just a dinner here. Then step 2, an unexpected expense or a quick weekend trip. And before you even realize it, you've hit step 3, where these small, seemingly harmless expenses gradually escalate into a regular financial rhythm of expectations. Eventually, at step 4, a man might find himself spending money simply to keep the peace, avoid an argument, or preserve the companionship he's afraid to lose. When a relationship ends, sure, the emotional pain fades, but the financial consequences of this snowball effect, those often stick around for good. Section 3. The cost of freedom. So the crucial point here is that after decades of answering to bosses, spouses, and children, finally having complete control of your daily schedule is an unbelievable luxury. I mean, if you want to spend the whole day fishing, reading, or just sitting in total silence, you can do that. No explanations needed. But when a relationship begins, suddenly that time has to be shared. Plans have to be coordinated, preferences discussed. The source notes that older men deeply underestimate how much energy that constant, everyday compromise actually requires. Losing control of your daily rhythm right after you've finally earned it feels uniquely exhausting. Prioritizing this freedom isn't selfish in the slightest. It's a profound reward for a lifetime of hard work. Section 4. Attention versus respect. Now, this distinction is absolutely vital. Older men, especially after going through a divorce or losing a spouse, often confuse fleeting attention with genuine respect. And it makes sense, right? Attention feels great. Someone is calling you, giving you compliments, making you feel desired again. But here's the catch. Attention is easy. It's temporary. Respect, on the other hand, is permanent and it actually honors your boundaries. The source warns that just to avoid an empty house, older men will become so grateful for temporary attention that they completely ignore glaring red flags. They focus purely on how the relationship makes them feel in the moment rather than looking at what it's costing them in terms of their long-term peace and respect. Section 5. Health and identity loss. This is where the emotional toll directly impacts the physical body. As the source explains, emotional stress literally breaks down an older body, completely undermining all the hard work a man puts into staying healthy. When you're younger, your body just absorbs stress, right? You bounce right back. But after 60, just one sleepless night hits you so much harder. Every single argument, every cycle of conflict places a massive, direct demand on your nervous system. You could be eating perfectly and going to all your checkups, but if you're tied to a relationship that creates chronic emotional stress, you are actively damaging your physical health. Peace isn't just a lifestyle choice anymore, it's a medical necessity. And this leads us to perhaps the darkest cost of all, the gradual erosion of self. Just look at how innocently it starts. At 1 month, you're just changing a few minor routines. No big deal, right? But by 6 months, you're filtering your thoughts just to avoid disagreements. By a year, you are giving up the hobbies that once brought you so much joy. And by year 2, you risk losing your identity entirely, basically organizing your whole life around keeping someone else happy. A man can slowly lose his very sense of self through these constant, one-sided compromises, mistakenly viewing this massive sacrifice of his identity as love. Section 6. Redefining fulfillment. So how do we fix this? Well, the truly fulfilled man doesn't actually need a relationship to rescue him from boredom or loneliness. Instead, he builds a rich, engaging life first. He cultivates great friendships, stays active, and builds daily routines that give him meaning. And because his life is already so full and enjoyable, he becomes highly selective about who he actually lets into it. For him, companionship doesn't have to mean a romantic relationship filled with emotional complications. It can just be found in his community and shared interests. He protects his energy with the exact same intensity that he once used to protect his income. This mental shift is incredibly powerful. Instead of just asking, am I attracted to her or do I like her, like a younger guy might, wiser men evaluate relationships strictly based on a completely different set of criteria. They ask, does she actually make my life better? How do I really feel after spending time with her? These questions cut right through the fantasy and force you to focus on the reality of your daily experience. They ensure that any companionship you do bring into your life is supportive, not demanding, and ultimately liberating, rather than restrictive. Which brings us to the end. And I want to leave you with this final provocative question to ask yourself before sacrificing your hard-earned freedom for companionship. It all boils down to this single, crucial filter. Does this person bring peace into my life or pressure? Because at the end of the day, after a lifetime of hard work, your time is incredibly limited, your energy is immensely valuable, and your peace is absolutely 100% worth protecting. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking the right questions, and I'll see you in the next one.